Can you explain the metric system? Well, the metric system is a way of measuring length and weight based on our decimal system. So if you have a good understanding of decimals and place value, it'll be really easy to understand the metric system. Let's begin by looking at a unit of length called the meter. Now a meter is just a little bit bigger than a yard, and 1 yard equals 3 feet. So that means a meter is a little bit longer than 3 feet. In the metric system, the units of measure to the right of a meter become increasingly smaller, and the units of measure to the left of the meter become increasingly bigger. So let's find out how many meters are in each of these measurements. And let's begin with the meter. We know there is 1 meter in a meter. That's easy enough to understand. Now decameters are 10 times bigger than meters. So that means there are 10 meters in a decameter. Hectometers are 100 times bigger than meters. So there are 100 meters in a hectometer. A kilometer is 1,000 times bigger than a meter. So there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. Now let's take a look at the smaller units of measure. A decimeter is 1/10 the size of a meter. So a decimeter would be 0.1 meter. A centimeter is 100 times smaller than a meter. So it would equal 0.01 meter. And a millimeter is 1,000 times smaller than a meter, so it would equal 0.001 meter. So let's see how we can use this information to convert from one unit of measure to another. Now the first problem asks us to change 125 millimeters to meters. So we're going to go from millimeters to meters, from a small unit of measure to a larger one. Well, how many times larger? Well, let's find out. We're going to go from millimeters to centimeters to decimeters and finally to meters. That's 1, 2, 3 powers of 10 away. This power of 10 tells us how many places to move the decimal when going from millimeters to meters. Now remember, when you don't see a decimal in a number, it's understood to be after the last digit. To change from millimeters to meters, we're taking 3 jumps to the left. So we're going to move the decimal 3 places to the left. So now the decimal is before the digit 1. So our number in meters is going to be 0.125. And I'm just going to place a 0 here to show that we have no 1s. So 125 millimeters equals 0.125 meters. Let's take a look at the second problem. This time we're changing kilometers to centimeters. So we're going from a large unit of measure to a much smaller unit of measure. So how many centimeters will equal 3.4 kilometers? Well, let's find out how many jumps we have to make to go from kilometers to centimeters. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 jumps. That means we have to move our decimal 5 places. Now, do we move to the left or to the right? Well, we jumped toward the right, so we should move our decimal to the right. So we're going to move the decimal in 3 4/10 5 places to the right. So that means we need to add some zeros. And now we can move our decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our new number is 340,000. 3.4 kilometers is 340,000 centimeters. Let's take a look at the third problem. This time we have to convert decimeters to meters. Well, decimeters are right next door to meters. So to move from decimeters to meters, we only have to make one jump. And we're moving to the left. So to change 5.6 decimeters to meters, we just have to move the decimal one place to the left. And that gives us 56 hundredths. So 5.6 decimeters is equal to 56 hundredths of a meter. So when you want to convert from one unit of measure to another in the metric system, it's easy to do if you use this chart. By jumping from one unit to another, you know how many places to move the decimal point and in which direction. And to help you remember this chart, you can use this mnemonic device. King Henry doesn't mind drinking chocolate milk.